Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Is the screen visible with Lord Shri Krishna and Bhagavad Gita as it is?
Yes, Mataji, it is, yes.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So welcome, dear devotees, to Chat Chapter a Day. And today, it's wonderful to be here in your association again. And I seek your blessings so I can do some service today. And we will continue with our discussion of Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, and we are on to verse number 55, which we will discuss in a bit more detail. So we will recite the Mangalacharan prayers and invoke auspiciousness and take blessings of Acharyas and Guru and Krishna and Vaishnavas. So please join me behind muted mics. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurun-militam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swamini Tinamine. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhaite Girim Yat Krupa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So today, dear devotees, we will discuss verse 55, but also we are going to being a Saturday. Dilip Prabhu is going to sing a bhajan, beautiful bhajan after the discussion. And I have a special announcement to make as well. So please stay till the end so that we can all try and churn some nectar together. So till now, in this chapter, contents of the Gita summarized. Lord Shri Krishna has been giving a lot of knowledge here to Arjun. We know 11 to 30, Gnana and Sankhya, analytical knowledge of body and soul, matter and spirit was discussed, and verse 31 to 38 was about Sakam Karma, doing your prescribed duty that results in enjoyment. 39 to 53 was a discussion of what is Buddhi Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga, which is doing your prescribed duty with the knowledge and detachment as an offering to the Supreme. And then 53rd shloka of this fourth section, Lord Shri Krishna spoke that someone in Buddhi or Bhakti Yoga, he has Achala Buddhi, that is fixed up intelligence, in samadhi or in trance. And after hearing that, Arjuna is asking Lord Shri Krishna about the symptoms of such a person who is fixed up in intelligence. So what is the nature of that person who has Achala Buddhi? So with the help and guidance of Srila Prabhupada, we will try and understand. I'll recite the verse 55. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmanyevatmana Tushtaha Sthita Pragnastadochyate. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Parth, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. And who would like to read the purport today? Someone would like to volunteer? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, please go ahead.
The Bhagavatam affirms that any person who's fully in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord has all the good qualities of the great sages, whereas a person who's not so transcendentally situated has no good qualifications, because he's sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concotations. Consequently, it is rightly said herein that one has to give up all kinds of sense desire manufactured by mental concoction. Artificially, such sense desires cannot be stopped. But if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then automatically sense desires subside without extraneous efforts. Therefore, one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness without hesitation, for this devotional service will instantly help one onto the platform of transcendental consciousness. The highly developed soul always remains satisfied in himself by realizing himself as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. Such a transcendentally situated person has no sense desires resulting from petty materialism. Rather, he remains always happy in his natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for reading it so beautifully. So we can see here that based on Srila Prabhupada's purport and translation, we will try and see what are the key points in this purport. And as I said, that in the 53rd shloka, 54th shloka, Arjuna asks 4 questions to Krishna, and one of them, the questions is, what are the symptoms of such a person who is a sthita pragna or who has achala buddhi? And so that question, first question, is answered in this verse, and the remaining 3 questions will be answered in other verses right till the end of the chapter. So let's go back and read the translation once. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Parth, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So, Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan. What does that mean? It means that this is the person who has realized himself as a spirit soul, that he is a spiritual being, and in such spiritual happiness, he is totally satisfied, and he gives up all material desires which arise from the mind. And such a person is called Sthita Pragnas. So there are 2 things in this verse. First thing is that he has given up all material desires arising from the mind. So that is one characteristic of Sthita Pragna. And second characteristic is that he is satisfied within himself in Krishna consciousness as eternal servant of Supreme Lord. And he does not look for satisfaction outside. That is, he is not using his senses, or he is not looking outside in sense objects to find happiness. because these are also the symptoms of Atmaram, someone who is satisfied within himself because he is working at the soul level. So Srila Prabhupada also writes that the highly developed soul, he is eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. In many purports, we have seen that Srila Prabhupada has said this, that the highest level of devotional service is that person who has realized that he is eternal servant of the Supreme Lord and he acts on that. So how to give up the material desires? It's not done artificially, right? So it should be done naturally, like how Amrish Maharaj did. He had all the opulence, wealth, all the power and prosperity, but he uses all his senses for serving the Lord. So he's not looking outside in the sense objects, whereas the happiness is within his soul. He's using all his senses to worship the Supreme Lord. And that's how he is self-satisfied within himself, serving the Lord. So, and most of this sense object happiness, it arises from the mind. It is a mental concoction. The happiness is actually not that big. Yes, if we go out, eat delicious food or do something, fine, we enjoy a little bit, but that is so minute. It is so temporary, and our mind actually magnifies it and makes an imagination that that thing is actually so big, and it glamorizes it. But that's not the truth. That thing is extremely minute, very temporary, and it is senses are never satisfied, as we have seen in previous verses. We get something once, we want it more. If we have something, we want something else. It is never satisfied. That is why the real happiness is how to find satisfaction in self, by realizing that we are the eternal servant of Supreme Lord, because Lord is Satchidananda. He is full of knowledge, full of bliss, and he is completely eternal. So when we connect with the Lord, that's when we are going to get the true happiness, because he is reservoir of happiness. There is one verse in Padyavali. There is a term called Raso Vaisa. Krishna is Raso Vaisa. He's reservoir of happiness. So if you go to a reservoir, then your quench will be thirst, because you are going to that huge oasis. You can drink water and quench your thirst. But instead, if we go in an imagination in a desert, that, oh, I can see water, but in fact, there is nothing there. So your quench is not going to get satisfied. That's why we are living in an imaginatory world, whereby we think just by looking outside in sense objects, we will find happiness. But that is not true. That is very minute, that is very temporary, and it does not bring, because it's not in the mode of goodness. And at the same time, remember, we are even trying to come out of the mode of goodness, because at the end of the day, it is still material mode. So the whole thing about Bhakti Yoga, performing Bhakti Yoga, is transcending the modes, and that will only happen when we connect with the Lord who is transcendental. Then we will also transcend these modes. So there are many things here, and let's have a look. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is giving his teachings to Sanatan Goswami, and here we can see that he asks certain questions to the Lord, and thus his questions. The first was, what is Jiva's identity? And there Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the answer. जीवेर स्वरूपः कृष्णेर नित्यदास कृष्णेर तटस्थ शक्ति भेदा भेद प्रकाश. What does it mean? It is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because he is the marginal energy of Krishna. So the superior energy is in the spiritual world, the internal energy, and this world is external energy, whereas we are marginal. So we have this minute free will, whereby we can make an effort to go towards spirituality rather than move towards materialism. That's why Jivera Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. Our soul identity is that we are part and parcel of Krishna, and that is the true identity. And thereafter he is asking, so what are the causes of Jiva's suffering? And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna bhuli se jiva nadi bahir mukha ateva maya tare deya samsara dukha. What does it mean? That forgetting Krishna, the living entity has been attracted by the eternal feature from time immemorial. See, we are attracted to the external feature. That's what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, and this is arising from our mind. It is the mind who does this. In this verse, it is said manogatan. It's a mental concoction. It is created by the mind. Mind thinks that this will give me happiness, that will give me happiness. And so that is not true because that is illusory energy, that is Maya. And it gives the person all kinds of misery in his material existence. That's what this verse says, 117. And then lastly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gives the remedy. What is it? Sadhana and Sadhya. So, Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana Purushartha Shiromani Prema Mahadhana. What does it mean? Devotional service or sense activity for the satisfaction of the Lord is called Abhidaya. That is the process because it can develop one's original love of Godhead. That is the goal of life, which is devotees' topmost interest and greatest wealth. Thus, one attains platform of transcendental loving service unto the Lord. See here, every time service is mentioned because that is our constitutional position. And we can see that bhakti or buddhi yoga, which we have understood in the previous section, it means that is the only means for deliverance of us. We are conditioned soul. So like the sun, say it only means to overcome Maya. So Bhakti Yoga is like sun, say analogy, and Maya is darkness, this material world. So we need to take shelter of Guru and Krishna, and one can attain devotional service by the mercy of devotees. So how to get bhakti? How do we attain bhakti? That will only happen by the mercy of devotees and Krishna. So satsang is very, very important. It is the power of satsang that can give us Krishna bhakti. And here we can see, let's have a look, that in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, verses 1 to 3, the 26 qualities of devotees are listed. Like non-violence, humility, cleanliness, compassion, all these are listed. But what is the foremost quality? Would anyone like to say what is the most important quality that a devotee or a practicing devotee should aim to acquire? Anyone would like to, because there are so many good qualities, right? Cleanliness, truthfulness, non-violence, humility, and there are many more qualities. But what is the one important quality? There is gratitude, there is forgiveness.
Humility.
Humility.
Compassion.
Compassion, okay. Nice answers, yes. Any more? This is
Merciful.
good.
Merciful.
Okay, devotee should be merciful. Yes, these are all very good answers. They are also correct.
Ahimsa, ahimsa.
Ahimsa. Okay, Prabhuji. Ahimsa, yes, non-violence as well. Okay, let's have
Violence is by action or by word as well, and by thought as well.
Yes, yes.
So manasa vacha sakarmana, ahimsa.
Ahimsa, yes, Prabhuji. There is answer by Jai Prabhu in chat. Truthfulness, okay. Any more?
Loyalty.
Tolerant, Mataji.
Loyalty.
Sincerity.
Very nice answers. Actually, this is so nice because we are getting to hear all these divine qualities, which is also nice. It's purifying. Okay, so all the
Loyalty. How about loyalty?
Okay, nice.
Devotional service.
Devotional service.
I don't know. It's just
Okay, you are
guessing.
coming closer. You are coming closer when you say devotional service. So my question is, what would you do to start devotional service? What is the first step?
You have to be compassionate and humility, gratitude.
Okay.
Love.
Faith,
Chanting.
Love to
Chanting.
God.
Okay.
faith, love.
Lovely, fantastic. Okay, so all the answers are good.
You must have tolerance. Tolerance is very important. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Tolerance is very important. Okay, there is one answer here by Venkat Prabhu, which is more in the direction of what we are discussing, which is surrender. So even I was not aware when I heard this lecture. There it says that foremost of all the qualities is taking shelter of Krishna. Why? Because, see, one may not have all these qualities that all the dear devotees, all of you listed now, right? All these qualities. So to start with, say, for example, I am new. I have come into Krishna consciousness and I know, okay, all these qualities are there in 16th chapter, someone told me, but how do you, it's not possible to develop them overnight. So what foremost something one person needs to do is they should have faith, they should take shelter of Krishna, right? Even in 1866 it is said that fine, devotional service comes to one who is very fortunate and Krishna gives that by his mercy. But we have this minute free will by which we can decide, yes, I want to take shelter of Krishna. And then what happens is automatically all these wonderful qualities that you all listed, gratitude, satisfaction, everything, even if I don't have this initially, by taking up the practice to devotional service and by taking shelter of Krishna, gradually these qualities will develop with mercy of Krishna. So first step is taking shelter of Krishna. Right? And so these good qualities appear in a personality of a devotee by practicing bhakti. And see, this verse confirms this, that one may have many good qualities, but if they do not have bhakti or if they have not taken shelter of Krishna, then what will happen is that they will not be able to retain these qualities for a long time. Why? Because only in Bhakti Yoga you're trying to transcend mode of goodness. But if you're not in Bhakti, if you have not taken shelter of Krishna, you are in mode of goodness with all these good qualities. But it is very, very possible that you will move to passion or ignorance because you are not with devotees. You have not taken shelter of Krishna. Hence, what will happen is that with that asat sangha, gradually one may fall down to passion and ignorance. So that is why the foremost thing to do is devotees association, take shelter of Krishna, chant the holy name, discuss, hear, read, do service, distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, read them and distribute this knowledge with everyone. If we do this, then the byproduct is all the qualities will gradually, eventually, they will develop slowly, right? So here this verse says in 5th canto, यस्यास्ति भक्तिर्भगवत्या किञ्चना सर्वैर्गुणैस्तत्र समासते सुराः हरावभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुणा मनोरथेन सति धावतो बहिः. Who would like to read the translation?
All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, became manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva, on the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities, has no good qualities, even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives. He must be driven by his own mental speculation, must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So yes, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if they have, they cannot retain. That's why the foremost quality is to take shelter of Krishna, take to devotional service and devotees association. So, and then we can see there are so many examples here in the scriptures that those who formerly did not have good qualities or rather had bad, and how their lives transformed by coming in contact with devotees, and by the mercy of devotees, their bhakti developed, and they gradually developed good qualities. We know Mrugrari, he did not even want to kill an ant after getting the mercy of Narad Muni. Bilvamangal Thakur, Mrugrari, Valmiki, Dundukari, Pingala, Avanti Brahman, even Dhruv Maharaj, because initially his desires were based on the senses. He wanted the greatest kingdom, bigger than his grandfather. But what happens? That with Lord's mercy, they are all become Sthita Pragna or Atmaram. So, what was the? Can someone tell me what was the foremost quality we discussed? What we need to do? And because of that, gradually other qualities will come. So, what we need to do?
Surrender to Krishna.
Yes, take shelter of Krishna, and surrender will come eventually. But first, we just need to take shelter that, right, this is it, this is the path. We need to do it with faith, and surrender is deeper. It comes gradually. First, just take shelter of Krishna. And so there are a lot of things here due to time. I don't know whether I can discuss, but this is very nice, something here. Let me see, we have to choose. So Krishna Eka Sharanam, that becomes the source of all good qualities. Krishna Eka Sharanam, shelter of Krishna. And we know that how merciful Krishna is. For example, even Putna, she had smeared poison to feed Krishna, and Krishna gave Putna position of mother in spiritual world, right? So we know how merciful he is. So what to speak about demoness? Us, if we try with sincerity, then he will definitely give us the pure devotional service and bless us. So there is also beautiful verse here in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, because we are discussing here that how devotees' mercy is so important. Because we will take a shelter of Krishna with the help of devotees when we will come in their association. And here, this slide here, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is instructing Rupa Goswami. And he says this famous verse everyone knows, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master. By the grace of Krishna, by the mercy of both Krishna and spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. So this seed is called Bhakti Lata Bij. And once we get that, what we need to do? We need to do three things, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji says. He describes the process of cultivating Krishna Bhakti. If we follow this process, then the tree of devotional service will give the fruit. What is that? Prema Phala. We will get the love for Godness, for Godhead. So first thing is when we have a creeper, when we first of all put seed, what do we need to do? We need to look after it. We need to water it. We need to do fencing, and we need to remove any weeds around it. So our Bhakti Lata Bij watering is Shravana and Kirtana, and that happens in devotees association, and service and sadhana. So service is external. We can do lots of services at the temple. We can also go outside and do Nagar Sankirtan, because that is the solution given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga. And that includes giving and distributing the knowledge, which is the books of Srila Prabhupada. So that is watering. When we will do this, our creeper creeper will slowly grow very, very nicely from the seed. Then we need to fence it. What is the fencing against? Vaishnava Aparadh. Because this will become the biggest obstacle of our progress, because we know Vaishnavas are very, very dear to Krishna, and we need to take their blessings, and we should not do any aparadh, because we know this famous other pastime, right? Durvasa Muni and Amrish Maharaj, right? He has to come back after going around the whole Brahman, back to Amrish Maharaj for his forgiveness, because Krishna says, Aham Bhakta Paradhino. I love my devotees. If he forgives, I can, otherwise I can't forgive you. So we need to love the devotees of the Lord and not do any Vaishnava Aparadh. That is our fencing. And the Bhakti Lata beach, around it, the weeds will grow. We need to remove these weeds, and that is Upashakha Gan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, what is that? When we do some service, we should do it with a pure motive. And what is that motive? That we want to please Vaishnavas, Guru, and Krishna. There should not be any other motivation, right? There is this beautiful verse, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo, Yato Bhakti Radhokshaje, Ahaitukya Pratihata, Yayatma Su Prasidati, Ahaitukya Pratihata, unmotivated, uninterrupted. So no motivation. But when, if we have the motivation that people will praise us, or people will like us, or we will have a fan club following, all this is weeds. So if we are doing service with that purpose, then we are watering the weeds. We are not watering our Bhakti Lata creeper, the beach. The creeper will not grow, but the weeds will grow around it, because the purpose is wrong completely. It is materially motivated. We want to be spiritually motivated. So these are the three things that we really need to be careful of. And I think I've covered most of the things. This was very, very beautiful, but it is fine some other time. When we have similar concept, we can see there are three things basically. Two things we can't change, one thing we can change. Our previous samskaras and conditioning, we is like we are born with it. And then there is the environment we grew up in. But that also we cannot change, whatever interaction we had till now before coming in touch with devotees. But what we can change is we have a minute free will, and with that we can connect to Shastra, and that's how our faith will grow, and we can engage in spiritual life, and 100% we can do this to change our life. For example, Prahlad Maharaj, he taught the devotional service and bhakti to his classmates who happened to be demoniac. So connection to Shastra is one thing, and Sutapa Prabhuji explains this very beautifully in his class, so that's how I thought I will put it down here. And here we know, right, that there are three levels: the gross level, subtle level, and soul. So all these impressions are stored in our subtle body, in the mind. All this I have put here is so the samskaras, the more we do some activity, the stronger the samskaras become. So we want to do the pious activities, spiritual activities, the stronger they become, the stronger they will go deep down in our chitta, in our mind. And that's how they will have bigger influence on us. And then obviously the soul, it's at the soul level that we need to satisfy ourselves, not at the body level. So we can use our mind and senses to serve Krishna, and that's how we can purify ourselves. So I would like to conclude the verse here. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Are there any questions or any comments here? Because we have a bhajan also today. Dilip Prabhuji, are you here? Dilip Prabhuji, are you here to sing the bhajan? Vinu Mataji? Okay. Hare Krishna, can you hear me? You are singing the bhajan today, right? Jai Radha Madhav. Dilip Prabhu? Vinu Mataji? Let's have a look. Okay, so they are not here. Hare Krishna. Let me go through the participants. They are here? Okay. Dilip Prabhuji, I can see, let's ask to unmute.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Okay, so in 1 minute, I will share the screen and then you can sing the wonderful bhajan. Dear devotees, there is a very, very important announcement here. You can see this beautiful flyer, right? Can you see on my screen? What does it say?
Go to Goloka.
Yes, go to Goloka. So this wonderful event is tomorrow at 3 p.m. and we can see on the poster there are so many exalted, wonderful senior Vaishnavas and they will be presenting tomorrow. So my request is to all of us, let's inspire each other and join this event and try our best as we are coming nearer to the, as the deadline comes closer and to distribute the Srimad Bhagavatam texts. Let's hear from His Holiness Sachidananda Swami is there, His Holiness Jananand Goswami, Mother Vishakha, and His Grace Shishika Prabhu. So tomorrow, please join for this event and please do attend. It is Go to Goloka Bhadra campaign, 3 p.m. tomorrow. Dear devotees, yes. So the Zoom link is here, ID and password, yes. Password is Go to Goloka. So we'll see you there. And yes, there is one question in the chat from Surbhi Mataji. Yes, but in this day, where do we find correct devotee groups and Guru? Surbhi Mataji, you have been joining, I'm sure, our chat sessions, right? Surbhi Mataji, you are there. Can you unmute? So you are in a devotees association, right? What are
I'm outside right now. I can't hear properly. Yeah.
I can't hear.
I've joined this group for the past 2 months, I think. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm outside, so I'm not able to hear properly. Sorry. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Surbhi Mataji. Yes, so please stay connected with this wonderful devotees association. Nice. Thank you for turning on your video. So it helps to connect when we can see who we are talking to. So thank you so much. Please stay connected. How are pride and ego control on path of devotion? Yes, also Surbhi Mataji. So as I said, the first step is surrender to Krishna, and with the help, when we surrender, then we will obviously take the association of devotees, right? So when we will mix with devotees and we will hear and chant and we attend all these wonderful festivals, then slowly we learn that there are two things. First thing is internal, second thing is external. So internal is our own sadhana. We need to every day chant the holy names of the Lord. You can start with few rounds and gradually build up. So this will do the cleansing of our internal, our chitta, our mind and our heart, and the deeper impressions that are there will slowly be cleansed. And secondly, we need to do external, which is service. Any service that we can do, right? Even chanting is a service in case you can't physically go out and do anything. But it will be nice to, do other services also to Lord. At the temple, there are so many services that you could do. So by this association and service, and hearing the Hari Katha in Devotees Association, the pride and ego slowly, the anarthas will surface, Mataji, slowly. And we will be able to identify it in the association of devotees, and slowly they will subdue. Our desires will change, and we can slowly divert our material desires to spiritual. And we will see, you see so many devotees at temple, how happy they are doing the service. It is just amazing. You'll see the happiness. You need to do it to experience it. Really, you need to know by experience. Okay, can a bhakti alone change a person, or does the person also have to put in some effort to develop the good qualities as described in chapter 16? Okay, so that is Jai Prabhuji part of bhakti, right? That is the process. So as I said, those 3 steps, Jai Prabhuji, that we have to water the seed, the bhakti seed we get from devotees. And then we have to fence it by not making any offenses to other devotees and people around us. And thirdly, we have to be very aware. All the awareness of the mind is very important. We have to ask ourselves, what is my purpose in doing this service? We have to keep asking ourselves. So when we follow those 3 steps, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji says, that will definitely help us to develop good qualities. So it's a mixture, our effort and Lord's mercy, right? Damodar, the 2 fingers short. Jai Prabhuji, does it answer your question? That we need to make effort and we need Krishna's mercy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Can you put the poster in the post? Yes, of course. You mean in the WhatsApp group, Prabhuji? There is one iPhone. They are asking. We will post it in the group, chat group. Is that okay? And what if we see pride in others? Thanks so much, Hare Krishna. Yes. Okay, when we see pride in others, Surbi Mataji, I think we need to also ask ourselves that where is this triggering from? That I am seeing pride in someone, but why I am seeing this in them? What is the trigger? Because that might not be the case, but okay, even if it is, say for example, then what do is that we tell ourselves that, okay, we are all in Maya, right? We are all not pure. So I am trying like that, they are also trying. Okay. And so we should not look down on anyone because everybody has their own journey. Everybody is at a different stage and level. We need to help each other. If we see pride in them, then we should have compassion for them. Say, for example, somebody is very sick and they have running temperature. Would you be upset with them? Surbi Mataji, can you unmute? Would you be upset with someone who's running a temperature?
That's a lovely answer, actually. Show compassion.
Yeah, because if they are running temperature, we would feel sorry. We would want them to get well soon. So if they are going through some anartha, which is pride is one of them, the quality, then it is, we need to pray for them because we can't just go and correct them. That would be also not right attitude, but prayers are very powerful. We can pray for them and we should not be upset and we should not go and discuss that such and such person has pride because then we will be doing the third thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji said, the second thing, which is Vaishnava Aparadh, even if they are not devotees, because then it's not good for our development. That is why we should just pray for them. We should not discuss or we should not look down on them. Even I am trying this. It is not like what I am telling right now. I need to work on it as well because I am a practicing devotee. But it really helps to discuss in this forum because it also helps me to learn. So thank you so much for all the questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, somebody there? Thank you. Okay, so we'll share this Go to Goloka poster in chat group. Yes, Surbi Mataji, I can't hear you, Mataji.
Thank
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so Dilip Prabhuji, you are ready? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, please. I'm very sorry for that because there were questions. So we can, you can sing this bhajan. And who would like to read the translation? Let's see. There are 2 paragraphs, 1 and 2. So 2 volunteers, please. And then Prabhuji will sing the bhajan.
I can read the first paragraph, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Krishna is the lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavana. He is the lover of the cowherd maidens of Raja, the holder of the great hill named Govardhana, and beloved son of Mother Yashoda, the delighter of the inhabitants of Raja, and he wanders in the forest along the banks of river Yamuna.
Thank you, Mataji. And who would like to read the second one? Srila Prabhupada.
I can read, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada was very fond of this song. and sang it just before his lectures. In Allahabad and Gorakhpur, Srila Prabhupada fell into a trance after singing the first two lines, and after some time he came back into external consciousness and said, "Now just chant Hare Krishna." Srila Prabhupada said that this song is a picture of Vrindavana. Everything is there. Srimati Radharani, Vrindavana, Govardhana, Yasoda, and all the cowherd boys. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please sing Prabhuji the bhajan. You can start.
Thank you. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirshesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana 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 Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Govinda Jai, Shri Govardhan Nath Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for singing this beautiful bhajan so melodiously and with so much devotion. Thank you so much. So, dear devotees, here is the flyer. I will send it in the group and please join tomorrow. We'll see you there at 3 p.m. Go to Goloka with wonderful, so many wonderful senior Vaishnavas to hear from. And so I'll conclude this session by, we will chant the Vaishnava Pranam, Vaishnava devotees who are just like desire trees. They are full of compassion on fallen conditional souls. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Krishna Mataji,
Thank
thank
you.
you
Hare
for
Krishna
giving me the
Mataji,
service.
thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank
Hare Krishna,
Hare
thank you
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare
for wonderful
Krishna,
Thank
Mataji.
you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Bhajan.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.